Hi, Dustin. Mark Kendall calling.
Mark, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Well, I got to say, it's great to be speaking with you. Thanks so much for your time today.
No problem.
Well, first, Mark, I want to ask you about the new album you had not too far back, Full Circle. You know, if the listeners haven't had a chance to hear it yet, can you tell us a little bit about the album and what Great White fans are in for with this one?
Yeah, it turned out really good. The feedback has been amazing, and we went back and worked with Michael Wagner again, the producer, who now, back then, he wasn't the icon he is today. He'd only really done Accept and I believe a Dawkins demo record. So, I saw him on the Monsters cruise, and we were just talking, and he just mentioned, he goes, "Why don't we do something again?" I'm like, "Wow, that'd be great," and so that was a great experience. He's such a taskmaster, and so the production's amazing, and so everything turned out really good. It's a super strong record. Like I said, the feedback's been amazing, and the fans seem to dig it live and everything. So we're thrilled with the outcome.
Excellent. Yeah, and I know Michael Wagner worked on your early stuff back in the day. Is that where the Full Circle comes from? Kind of going back to the roots?
Yeah, we've never named an album until it's, all done. That makes the most sense. And, sometimes we'll name it after a song or whatever, And we couldn't come up with a title, and actually Michael Lardy, our keyboard guitar player, came up with that. He goes, "What about Full Circle?" And we all liked it immediately, because it made sense. He did our very first album, our first EP, and then all these years later, we're back working with him again. It just seemed to be an apt title, I guess.
Well, Mark, has the writing process changed for you much over the years? I mean, you guys have been pumping out albums, since the late 70s.
Oh, actually, our very first EP was in '82, but no. In fact, even with the modern technology or whatever, we haven't changed anything. We just get together, kind of show each other our ideas. As far as on our own, the only thing I do different is I used to use micro cassettes, and now I use my phone to put my ideas on. So that's about the biggest change we've made. But we just, I've just learned over the years that, what works, and we just don't change it as far as we always just get together in a room, and jam, and that seems to, has always worked the best when we're playing together. So we just do it like that. Sometimes we'll sit around with acoustic guitars and, kind of go, "What do you got?" And somebody will go, "Well, I have this idea," and we'll go, "Man, I really like that. I'd like to let's work on that," And, sometimes songs stem from just a small idea, and, we'll turn it into a full song. And other songs stem from just jamming together, like, we'll do some random jam, and something will happen after we're going for a while, and we'll stop and go, "Hey, what was that? Let's do something with that part," But yeah, we've never we don't email or text our parts or whatever, to each other. We always get together, and that's the way we've always done it. So we're, pretty much old school in that regard.
Awesome. Yeah, you mentioned the technology changes, and coming up on almost 40 years, playing in some fashion or another, and the music business obviously has changed a lot since then. The way people sell albums, and the importance of promotion and touring, and I know you guys had a bonus DVD with Full Circle. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to get things to the fans, and I guess kind of cut out a lot of the middle stuff there.
Yeah, the world has changed for sure. I had just a few years ago, I'd seen this Deep Purple making of Machine Head, and I'm such a fan, anyways. Just in general, that I was really excited watching that and how they made Machine Head, which was just such an iconic album. so when we were in this, when we knew we were going to go record with Wagner, I knew it was going to be something, kind of special. So we hired a company to document it and just have cameras rolling for 2 months. And we just put that in. I just thought, in the past, we've never really had anybody come into the studio, when we were recording. We just kind of, like to do it on our own. But I just thought it would be totally cool for the fans to see that, just to come in the studio and kind of watch us, how things happen. And, so that's why we included that. But as far as the industry, yeah, it's tough on the industry because, we don't need, $1 million advances anymore, and people are making records in their bedrooms, so, they've had to merge together, and, people don't buy music as much as in the past. There's no record stores. I mean, so we actually continue to make music because it motivates us to stay creative. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that's really why we do it. I've heard other people say that it's pointless to make records because there's no money in it, but we, as far as we're concerned, I can only speak for us. We never really wanted to become like an oldies band that just goes out every year and plays all the hits or whatever. Although we are grateful for all of our songs, but we need to continue to write, and that's what keeps it going for us.
Well, I know you guys have some shows coming up here, and one in Minnesota actually on July 2nd at Treasure Island, playing with Vince Neil. That'll be quite the bill for the fans.
Yeah. I go way back with Vince. I was actually in a band that played at his high school at lunchtime one time, and my friend and Vince was like literally standing 4 feet in front of me while I was playing. And my friend said, "You see that guy over there?" And he's pointing to Vince, and he's going, he sings. He likes to sing. And I go, "Oh, really?" I go, "What band is he in?" He goes, "Oh, he's not in a band. He just likes singing." But like 2 years after that, he was in a band, and we were in the battle of the bands. We at this teen center, and his band came in third place, and ours came in fourth. And so we go back quite a ways. So it's always fun to play with them. We got a lot to reminisce about,
Yeah, it's interesting to think what might have happened if things had turned out differently. Maybe you guys would have been playing together. Maybe he would be in Great White, or you might be in Motley Crue by chance.
Who knows? We all kind of came up together. The guys in Motley Crue used to come down to our shows. They lived, when we played the Whiskey, they lived like a block away in Hollywood. So when we'd play at the Whiskey, we'd see Nikki Sixx or, guys from the band and stuff. So we're all really familiar with each other, growing up in LA, coming up as younger guys, up and comers.
Well, speaking of that, with your shows now, you must see quite the makeup of fans in the audience these days. I mean, you guys are now spanning, generations over the years. No doubt.
And, even my kids have brought their friends to our shows, and I remember one of his buddies is going, "Your dad shreds, bro." These guys are like in their early 20s. But, yeah, we've seen that, and I think a lot of that is they can relate to it. And, some kids in their, early 20s, I'll just give you an example. We were in Sweden doing a festival there, and I went out in front of the hotel, and there's like 30 kids, in their early 20s or whatever, wearing clothes that we wore like in 85. You know what I mean? And I'm just going, this is so cool. It's almost like a little cult, like they found something, this 80s rock. And, once they discover it, they really dig it, It's not like us with our parents, where the music was so far removed from what we liked that it was just alien. We couldn't relate to it, with jazz singers and stuff like that.
Sure.
To where at least our stuff rocks, even if they're into death metal, they can relate. We just played on a cruise last week in Spain and France, and it was mostly really heavy bands, heavy metal type, modern day heavy bands. And, we get up there and play our stuff, and they go just as crazy. And that's mainly in Europe that happens. We play with, we played with Black Sabbath and Slayer and Bob Dylan, on the same stage, same day, So they, it seems like the European fans, they just go to dig the music. It's like it doesn't have to all be death metal, although I'm sure they have tours like that. But, Buddy Guy was even on the gig. So you're talking, from Slayer to Buddy Guy. I mean, that's quite a range. Range difference, but it seems to work out okay over there. Yeah, but as far as the generations, Dad might bring his son down, or come check the stuff I'm into, and they'll dig it. For the most part, they'll really dig it. So it's kind of cool.
Definitely. And again, Great White will be at Treasure Island Resort and Casino on July 2nd. And Mark, I wanted to ask you your relationship with Jack Russell. I know you guys have a real interesting agreement in place, as far as touring with your different versions of Great White. And not a lot of bands have that kind of setup.
Well, yeah. What happened is, Jack and I, our whole life together, I don't even think we've ever gotten in an argument, we're real close as far as being friends, and it just got to where he was so bad. He had to sit in stools. It got kind of bad, and we just had him go get well. We told him just go get well, and he's got demons and all that. So we just said get help. I work with alcoholic addicts myself, and like on a daily basis, so I'm real familiar with the range of what it takes for people to get sober. So one guy might just get a DUI and he quits drinking forever, and then you got guys that lose everything and they still don't stop. So it's a tough go. Some people make it. Anyways, yeah, we just told him to go get well, and the next thing we know, he was suing us. I guess he wanted to just go grab, random people and just play Great White and take the band name, So we had no choice but to defend ourselves, and so the final outcome was, we kept the name, and we gave him a way for him to make a living by making his name prominent, but calling it Jack Russell's Great White or whatever. So that's just the way it worked out. And we've moved on. We have a great singer, and we're just stress-free today. We just want to have fun, make music, and he's out playing now too, I think. And so he has our blessings, and everything's great. Like I said, we've always been brothers, as far as when we played together, we have, it's like a marriage. I mean, we were together, and, he just got in a rough spot and couldn't get out. And then the next thing we knew, we were served papers. So I don't know what to say about it, apart from that, but I have no animosity toward him. I never take it personal when somebody's in trouble with demons or whatever. I know it's not personal. They're not doing it to hurt anybody. Some people just can't get out of that life. I hope he's doing good today, and that's that.
Well, it's great that things worked out the way they did. And, again, full circle, just out not too long ago. But do you have anything else maybe in the works or anything else upcoming?
Yeah, I guess we got M3 coming up in a few days. Just a lot of shows. I think we got a little more than 50 shows so far this year. We're going over to Europe, I believe, in November for kind of a lengthy tour, longer than normal. So we don't have a lot of dates yet, but it's being put together. And that's it. We're just out, playing songs off our new record, all the hits, everything that you would expect, and more. So that's about it.
Excellent. Again, thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing you at Treasure Island here coming up in July.
Awesome, Dustin. Thank you.
All right, you bet. Thanks, man. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.